12 o'clock. We're about to fill your ear holes with the sounds of Steve and Igo.
Oh, gross!
Get ready for the most in-depth discussion on everything ECU. Players, coaches, the program, and more. This is Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo.
Play ball!
You ready? This is 94.3 The Game. This is where the Pirates play.
Welcome into the show, Hoist the Colors on a Wednesday. It is May 7th. Exciting show ahead. We've got a lot to get to over the course of the next hour. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. If you got a question, a comment, a concern, all our platforms there are open for comments. And we've got a big in-studio guest today. He is Ryan Robinson, Executive Director of the Pirate Club. And Ryan, we've had you on the show a lot in the past. You guys, never a dull moment.
No.
Welcome back.
No, always good to get with you. It has been a very busy, I should say, 3 or 4 years in college athletics. And right now is usually a time where things might slow down a little bit, but we're knee deep into. I was just telling you before the show, really knee deep into basketball scheduling, revenue sharing. How that looks. I never thought, probably 4 years ago, I never thought I would spend, 20 hours a week right now trying to figure out revenue sharing. But it is kind of much like, during my time in the NFL, that's kind of what we're dealing with now at a much smaller scale. So, but it's been good. Obviously got a huge baseball weekend coming ahead. Looks like the weather's going to work out for us. Exciting time on campus, graduations, and I think we always look at our sports teams and our student athletes, but to me, it's pretty cool to see R.J. Felton walk across the stage this weekend. Like,
True
to me,
Pirate, man.
Yeah, and I think when you look back at this business, it's why you got in the business. There are so many student athletes that their life's going to change on Friday with that piece of paper.
No doubt. It's a big deal. We got a few interns graduating as well.
Yeah.
It's always, it's a proud dad moment for sure in many ways, but happy for those guys. We got so much to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, we could hit on a million different items, Ryan, because
Fire away.
you always had, to me, one of the more interesting backgrounds because you came in directly under Gilbert and more like the administrative side, and you're still on the administrative side, but now with the Pirate Club. But how much are you still involved with the Pirate Club side of things versus athletics, or do you still have a pretty big hand in both?
I think the one area that I've kind of that when I first started, I was more in that external relations, and that is more kind of Greg Pierce now. Now, I mean, obviously, we're not the largest staff, so we all kind of work together, but really my focus is on, Pirate Club, fundraising, working with, John Gilbert, J.J. McLam, and others as we kind of navigate this revenue sharing.
Yeah.
Obviously, also the basketball administrator. And I must say that I'm also the men's and women's golf administrator. I'm very proud of that as well. So, I have a lot of different things going on, but we have a really good kind of culture in our building, Stephen. People will notice that we're all kind of working together. I'm never a person that has all the answers. But right now, we just finished from a Pirate Club standpoint, groundbreaking of the Isaiah Indoor Performance Center. I think you're going to start to see us shovel there. Hopefully next week there'll be some stuff that'll be done. And then at the end of August, we will break ground on the baseball building, the Dick and Sarah Bennett baseball building. I know Cliff and everybody's really excited about that. And then also one that really doesn't get talked about, it really means a lot to me just because I know how much it means to him, is we built a new driving range at Ironwood. Well, now here soon we'll have a groundbreaking on a building that's really it's Harold Varner's baby. And I was just with Harold a couple weeks ago. I know how much that means to him. I know how much it means to me because it's a former student athlete.
Right. It's a big deal.
Yeah, Curtis Struck, he's another person that, gave a large gift as a former student athlete. And I'll never forget what he told me. I said, Curtis, why are you doing this? And he said, I've always wanted to repay back my scholarship. And then, one of the biggest is obviously Bill Clark Holmes, Heath Clark, former baseball player, what he's done, and Lance. I could talk all day about those two.
They've made such a huge difference on so many different fronts. If you have a question for Ryan, drop it in our chat. We'll get to those. We got him about 30 minutes today, and we'll try to get to those. I did want to point out, I mean, look, the fundraising you guys have done, Ryan, pretty incredible. Y'all had a release earlier this year. $82 million over the previous 3 years, including, I believe, at least, $22 million each of those years, and a record-breaking $32.7 million in 2022. And y'all have had to raise, I mean, the thing with these facilities, y'all have had to raise all the money up front, which is not, I mean, how rare is that in athletics?
It's rare.
To get it all up front?
It is rare. I mean, but we have a very healthy relationship with our campus. I mean, we all work for ECU. And obviously, when the tower was built, there is a debt capacity to that. So we knew going in, hey, we couldn't do any of these buildings unless we raised the money. Now, there are still pledges that have to be paid. Those are important. But we feel really good that once this Isley Indoor is built, you're not going to owe anything on it. Once the baseball building, and, man, I mean, we have an incredible staff, but I can't say enough about just our fans, our donors. It doesn't matter the amount you gave. Like, they made that happen. And we're still, like, right now, it's a focus, like with the Purple and Gold Society. I think John put out a From the Helm yesterday about, even as we enter this new era, the thing that ECU's always been able, and we've got to rely on, is fundraising. We're going to be, we don't know our final revenue sharing number, but you're going to look middle of the pack, maybe a little bit above the fold, but we're going to fundraise. We're going to be aggressive, because now individuals and businesses can give money to the Pirate Club that we can use for revenue sharing, fully tax deductible. So it's a different model that's coming along, but really just pleased with what we've been able to accomplish. But you're never satisfied. You just keep going. There's always, I remember the day after the groundbreaking, the next morning we met about revenue sharing. It was like, hey, Pirate Club, we need to raise a certain amount of money next year. I'm like, man, can we just enjoy it for 24 hours?
Right.
But that's what I love about the business. I'm a competitor. I love to see what we can do.
Ron Robinson with us, executive director of the Pirate Club. So the new building area, we were out there for the groundbreaking, as you mentioned. It'll start, really, construction will start this month. And will you guys have to do, like, I don't know, some leveling of the area? Because it's going to be a big building. I don't know if people realize how big it's going to be.
People don't realize it's going to go all the way back towards sports medicine. The biggest thing we're dealing with right now outside of the building is we have an area we call Treasure Island for our students.
Yeah.
We are having to find a place to relocate that for right now and for at least a year. And that's, that is a very important part of what we've been able to do, of getting our students close to the stadium and then going into the stadium. So yeah, it's gonna, those tennis courts, all of that will be knocked out. I think it's probably a 15-month project. I tell people, I mean, when you come off Charles Boulevard, I mean, it is a massive building that I know all of our student athletes are excited about. I mean, I know I've talked to track and, baseball will use it. Everybody will use it. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, it is. I think it's going to surprise people how large it is. Yeah, it's just a metal building,
right?
But it is going to be a large structure.
And that and the baseball building, how much have, I mean, these things have been on the docket. How much have the construction costs changed, like the bottom line on both those? But it just seems like the number was always going up.
And that's why we kind of, to be able to do this in 3 years since we really started the campaign, that's what I'm most happy about. But that's all, it's a credit to Pirate Nation.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with, I'd like to thank our staff because they're incredible. But the construction costs have went up. But this baseball building, Cliff's probably the best person to talk about it because it was kind of his vision of what he wanted. I think, now when we get former players that come back, they're going to have a space. We're going to have a locker room that we can be proud of. I do think in this space too, there is going to be revenue generation with this new, part that's going to be down the third base line that we're working through. So everything we do right now does have to have kind of a revenue generation part of it. We will use the indoor facility for revenue generation. We're already kind of planning certain events that we can have in there that will benefit and help increase our revenue.
Ron Robinson visiting with us, executive director of the Pirate Club. And Look, I think we talked about this with you in the past with the Pirate Club and just the baseball seating situation. It's been a hot topic on our podcast at times. Like, fans want to sit in the grandstands. You also have season tickets that who are very valuable season ticket holders. So, at any point, will you guys try? And I know y'all are doing a reseating for football. At any point, try to review on if there's a solution to that, getting more access to seats.
Yeah, and I know that they did. In the ticket office this year, they discussed it. It needs to be, a number one priority. It is an interesting dynamic because truly the seats are sold out.
Right.
And, you don't know, I can't say it's going to be Saturday, but there's that one series or two series every year you look up and it's full in the grandstands because you have the people coming from Raleigh, coming to wherever. We were going to do reseating next year in baseball, but with these new seats, it might be postponed 1 year because it just makes sense to get the new seats in. No, I definitely hear people, and it's something that, with the ticket office, we need to make it a priority. I still think it's a matter of fans turning them in. We have a great system with men's basketball with courtside seats. It just works good where we send out, hey, send us an email and let us know you're not coming. There might be one or two games we don't get the emails back we like, but the majority of the time we know who is not coming to sit courtside. For some reason, it hasn't carried over to baseball, but it is a priority. I promise our fans will continue to make it a priority because I see it too. I mean, you see the jungle packed. Sometimes you look behind home plate and there's not as many people. So I understand that criticism and own it.
John Moody says, can Ryan speak on what the bowl win impact has done from a fundraising standpoint? So how much has that carried over into this offseason?
Big time. Yeah. We are way ahead of last year's numbers in football season tickets. And football season tickets it is a lifeblood.
It is.
I guess I'll just put it to you bluntly. Like, it pays for a lot of our other sports. And, that is revenue that we can share that, we've got to create revenue that if we want to compete in this new era of college athletics, and we're going to know our place. I think John said it best, is it's not a one-size-fits-all, but that's revenue that we can share to build our rosters. I'm really happy with football season tickets. We're doing reseeding, which will probably start at the end of the month. I want everybody to understand, too, is that, I don't know if you know this, but Coleman Spain is leaving us, Coleman is incredible. He's going to kind of go work in his family business. Actually interviewed someone last week. I think we might have another person on campus, but so that's going to be kind of Coleman's last hurrah. I basically said, hey,
he's got to get through that.
Yeah, I was like, you got to stay and help me through that. I've done a lot of different things in my career. I've never been through a reseeding, but we have been meeting on it, 2 or 3 times a week. But football season tickets have went well. The Tower continues to be sold out. Williams-Clark Club continues, I think every other year it's been, hey, sold the most tickets. Well, this year it's going to be the most tickets again. That's just so important. I like, I think overall I like our football schedule. I do like the fact that you probably know better than me, but I would say BYU is going to be, top 10, 15 team coming
for sure,
here.
preseason, yeah.
That's pretty cool to have here. So, obviously the Thursday night games aren't,
it's tough.
They're not ideal for selling tickets. We're going to try to be creative in that we're working through single game ticket pricing right now. I do think, talking to Coleman yesterday, probably early July, we will have the single games go on sale for everybody has been asking me about NC State and Coastal. Those will come out. We're kind of waiting to see, I call it the $1 million question, what those schools are going to charge our fans to come to their games.
Right.
So I think everybody remembers what App did to us
a
couple years ago.
Man.
Yeah, so we will see where that's at. But yeah, really encouraged by football season tickets. But there's no reason why we can't get to 16,000. I talked to a school that spends a lot, more money than us in our conference, and they're hovering right now. They're hoping to get 11,000 season tickets. So we should be proud
for sure
as ECU of what what we can do from a season ticket standpoint.
It's a big deal, and there's a lot of schools that would like to have ECU's season ticket number at the end of the day. So a big deal. I'd say, well, we'll get a break in. We will come back. We'll address more questions. We'll also talk more about this revenue share, how ECU fans can help ECU through these interesting times ahead with that. This is Hoist the Colors on a Wednesday.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Are you ready to tackle those yard and garden projects? Come by East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, your local Coyote dealer, and check out their great selection of residential and commercial Coyote tractors. From zero-turn mowers to compact tractors to skid-steer loaders, they've got you covered. Some with 0% financing for qualified buyers. Stop by your hometown Coyote dealer, East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, across from the Pitt County Fairgrounds or online at ectfleet.com. East Carolina Tractor and Fleet. We dig dirt.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
At Parker's Barbecue, our family has been serving your family for 3 generations.
For that, we say thank you.
Blessing families every Thursday. Kids eat free all day. That's the Parker's way.
Legendary food served from our 3 locations. Always quick, always delicious. That's the Parker's way.
At Parker's, our mission is to impact our customers through Christ-like service in a way that feeds them both physically and spiritually. That is the Parker's way.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
We're back to the show.
Okay, team, let's get back to work. Break's over.
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Wednesday edition of the show. We've got Ryan Robinson, Executive Director of the Pirate Club, in studio. This will be our final segment with him. And if you got any other questions, we'll get to Brian's question about the Young Grad Program in a minute. Also want to talk about men's basketball round. We touched on football, and I know you're heavily involved in men's hoops as well. And the schedule, we know ECU's going to UNC next year.
Yep.
We know Pirates will also be at UNCW. So a couple challenging road games. Just what have you seen from that standpoint, and also building off last year's 19-win campaign for Coach Schwartz?
Yeah, basketball scheduling has been at the forefront of, probably the last couple weeks with Coach Schwartz, with one of our assistants, I.J. Poole. Our basketball schedule this year, it is going to be very, very challenging. We're finalizing a couple more road games and MTE that is going to be very, very challenging. And then the challenge with basketball scheduling is we're trying – the way it works is obviously each school at our level in Power 4, they get a budget to buy teams per se, where you come in, you play a Gardner-Webb. Obviously, I know we lost North Alabama. But what we're trying to do is kind of reallocate some of that money and play more home and homes. There's some local schools that have interest in doing it. There's some local schools that don't. Very frustrating to me that they don't. And I'm not talking about, the Power Four, because I don't think anybody does a better job of scheduling local competitive than Cliff Godwin. I love his non-conference schedule. And we would like to do that, but you have to have teams that be willing to not always say, hey, you got to buy us. It's like, no, we don't mind, going up into the Burlington or Greensboro area. And
so
playing.
They don't want y'all to go play.
They don't, yeah. Now, there's some schools that do, but some schools that don't, and that is frustrating. But we're working right now on several home and homes that we hope will come to fruition. Some state schools, maybe some schools in Virginia that will be very competitive. But our non-conference schedule this year compared to last year, there's going to be a major difference. And we understand how important the net is, but also you have to understand too is that you do want you want to have games that I like to call winnable games.
Right.
You're not going to win every game. There's going to be. I mean, I could give you stories of the last 5 years all around college basketball teams that have lost, teams. But you want to build a schedule, and then I think with the transfer portal, obviously it takes time. It takes every school time to I look at UAB last year that I believe kind of started off really struggling, and they kind of built throughout the year. And I thought we did that as well. So that is a number one priority for us right now, is hoping in the next couple of weeks we can kind of finalize it. We will probably play one non-Division I here locally. Won't be two. We'll play one. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll put that out. But our road non-conference is going to be it's going to be challenging this year. We're excited about it.
I think fans will be more engaged with it. Obviously, you got to have fair expectations too, and there's a balance. You can't just go out and play 7 ACC schools on the road and expect to have a good basketball season. So I hope fans understand.
But I like
that
it
as
too.
well.
If we can go to some of these other places locally, I think it's good for our fans in the Raleigh area, Greensboro, to see the Pirates in action, of not always having to come to Greenville.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. Hunter Corbett says High Point and Elon would be great to schedule in basketball. I don't know if y'all talking to them.
They would be great.
Yeah, so we'll
they would be great to play without giving too much. They would be great to play.
So we'll see what happens there. And you kind of touched on it earlier with the rev share, and I don't know how much communication goes on between schools, Ryan, as far as figuring out where's everybody going to fall, especially in this conference. But do you feel like ECU, from a football, men's basketball standpoint, which is where the majority of most schools' rev share is going to go, is that a point where, expectations can be, hey, every once in a while we can compete for, towards the upper echelon of the conference in those sports?
Without a doubt. And I think we need to. We're not going to be at the top, and that's okay. We're going to be I think we're going to be more of that upper echelon than we are at the bottom. We speak. John Gilbert is on so many committees, and he has a great relationship across the country, and especially with our ADs here. We have a good idea of where we're at. But at the end of the day, these coaches will have a budget, and they'll fill that budget as we go through revenue sharing. That's still going on. I mean, it's really hard for men's basketball because the settlement still hasn't been settled, and you're sitting there trying to recruit, and it's a difficult process right now. But I'll say, for men's basketball, I've met most of the players they've had on visits. I know that Coach Schwartz, his staff, believe in the players that we have received. I think we have one more scholarship left. They'll be in here probably later in June. You kind of have a better idea. But obviously, I'm encouraged because our staff is encouraged on. They want to build on what happened last year, what we did. I think last year in the transfer portal, I was very happy to get, obviously the support of Team Boneyard, but when 2 or 3 guys are first team all conference, I'll take that every year. And then Jordan Riley, which probably should have been second team all conference. That was a good year of spending money wisely. But it's like the NFL in a roundabout way is you're not going to hit on everybody. You're just not. We see it across the country.
And there's sometimes a surprise.
Is a surprise. So what I really like about the roster now is some of the guys returning, like a Jordan and a Trevi LeBeau and a Jay Shane, to where they're going to be able to kind of lead these guys on. I thought last year we had a lot of newness. You had RJ and Cam, but you brought CJ in. I thought he got better throughout the year. Jordan. So no, I'm excited about it. Talking to Blake Harrell too, I kind of understanding his philosophy of, he will spend wisely, but he also understands that, in December it's a big time for football.
There's no doubt.
So you can't take all the money you have right now and just spend it. You do have to have money in December as we go through, and then obviously Team Boneyard is still a part of it, man. I don't think it's really hard to put into words what, Hank Hinton, Lance, Doug Gomes, Matt Slate, David Free, Woody Tyner, what these guys have done as volunteers. It's been incredible. They're going to still have Team Boneyard. They're going to put some regulations on it, the NCAA, but we will do their weekly or monthly checks through revenue sharing.
Okay.
Moving forward.
Purple and Gold Society, you guys have launched. I did want to clarify. I get a lot of questions now. Who do we send our money to if they're trying to support revenue share? Would Purple and Gold Society going forward kind of be the preferred option? And
we have a Purple and Gold where it starts at $25,000 over 5 years. So if you could commit to $5,000 a year for 5 years, or the Athletics Excellence Fund where you can do monthly payments or just make a make a gift to that we can use. We're going to need to raise well over probably 7 figures a year in that Purple and Gold to be successful. Every school is kind of going through it. I do think this is where ECU with Pirate Nation kind of coming together. I think that's where we have an edge in our conference. But one of the things we worked really hard was, looking at our peers and making sure we're competitive. But I will tell you, Stephen, we do need to compete for conference championships. I loved what we did in soccer this year because it everybody rallies around it. And if we can get there with, the football and the basketball, obviously we've been there for baseball. We see what it does for the school. So we'll continue to invest and trust. You got to trust your coaches and their staff as we go through it.
And you guys have done such a good job on the facility standpoint, and obviously some major projects already in motion there. With the Pirates Unite campaign, I think y'all had the teams building left. Is that still?
Yeah, we're still into discussions about it. And I will tell you on the teams building, the reason it's on there is when lacrosse was added, there was no really space added. So we're trying to figure out how we can create more space in that area for the teams. I tell you, one of the greatest things that I've seen since I've been here that's added is the gift from Carl Rogers and Grady White for the Rogers family weight room.
Yeah.
I know for baseball, it's got to be convenient because when I'm leaving sometimes, they're basically leaving the weight room. They can go right to the field. We needed that. We're still looking at some stuff. We've talked about, do we look at Minji's court this year? I know that's always a hot topic with fans. Repaint that. The one of the things I want to do is I want to take down, right now it does have the 2 3-point lines. I'd like to take that down. So we're looking at that. And then there's some stuff in football that we're kind of, one of the things with Bill Clark Homes, with their support, now when you pull up to Town Bank Tower, there will be 2 banners, the area to kind of cover up the inside of the stadium. We're working with Bill Clark Homes on that, how that's going to look. I think it's going to look really good. So really excited about some of the stuff we're going to do, but I'm hoping the settlement, is approved, hopefully in the next week or so. It sounds like the roster limits are the thing that's kind of holding it up. But we're ready, prepared, and to see where it goes.
Yeah, looking forward to I've told John about 8 times once it's officially approved, we're getting him in here to explain everything. And I think he's still got some numbers to work through after that, but he's looking forward to that, I'm sure. Brian says, what are the Pirate Club's plans to get new grads to join? He says, I only knew about the Young Grad Pirate Club membership because I'm an ECU diehard. How can the Pirate Club grow those numbers in the future? So your take there.
It's a great question. And we have to own that as a Pirate Club. You know, one of the things we've tried to do this year, and I encourage everybody, like, we do a lot of socials, and I encourage everybody in those areas. I mean, we try to put everything on social media, via email, but, like, we're doing one tomorrow in Wilmington. If you're in Wilmington, you're listening, or in that area, come. Blake Harrell's going to be there. We got a great group of Wilmington people, probably have 100 Pirates there. Come along, introduce yourself. We've been on the road a lot this year. We did one in Washington a couple weeks ago. But the young grads is important. We have to get this new generation to get behind. And, you know, young grad, you can basically join for nothing right now out of school. Because it really, you know, with the Student Pirate Club, we're continuing to try to find ways to offer incentives for the Student Pirate Club. Our student support, I know sometimes our fans can give students a hard time, but, like, I look up and sometimes when I see 7,000 students, I'm like, man, I've been a lot of other places.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty impressive. So I do love our student support, but young grads, you know, if he wants to reach out, we're trying to go as many different places, and we'll continue to football to where we can have socials. I tell you, I was just in Charlotte a couple weeks ago and met probably 20 individuals under the age of 25, and they were amazing. Got them signed up, and they had just come along because Blake Harrell went there, and they got to meet him. Growing our membership is important as we move forward because once you get them engaged, I think once people get engaged with what's going on in the Pirates, they stay engaged.
Atticus adding to that, he says the Charlotte area Pirate Club is great on social media outreach and the socials. Rich says football needs to win. That engages the young grads. Young grads over the last 6 to 8 years did not experience winning football like my class did in 2008, 2012. So, I mean, fair points there.
Winning
for sure.
is
winning cures a lot of things.
I always tell people winning's, you know, you can't just hope for winning. You still got to do your job or whatever. Yeah. But I just remember that night in Annapolis, Maryland this year, and sometimes we kind of forget about it. I don't forget about it. I think back a lot and go, man, just in December, you know, Blake Harrell and that group went in there and beat NC State. And to this day, I'll never forget the Raji Harrises and all the guys on that team, Big Tay, that they provided quite a highlight for ECU athletics.
And the thing I'll add too is, look, I mean, this year's schedule, we've talked about it, is challenging, but also like the NC State game, like the NC State game will this year, it brings great opportunity. You beat BYU at home, that's a massive deal. And I can't tell you how many of my friends that I hadn't talked to regularly in 5-6 years were messaging me after that game because ECU had beaten NC State, which is, you know, some of the things we grew up on.
Well, and then we got, you know, we'll have 2 bus trips we're getting ready to announce for the NC State game and the Coastal. We've had a lot of people reach out about the Coastal. We'll have a big tailgate there the day of that game. I'm looking forward to that. I'm big on, man, whenever the Pirates can travel to places where we have fan bases, it's an opportunity to meet a lot of new people, but that's why it's so important in basketball. I want to go to some different places and play. Like when we go to Greensboro and that Burlington area, that's some of our best Pirate Club socials.
There's no doubt. Anything else you want to get across before we let you go, just as far as upcoming socials, if fans are looking at a way to make those going forward, or anything that you want to get out there?
We'll have a date. We're going to announce a date soon. We'll probably do something in Raleigh before the football season. But again, tomorrow in Wilmington, that's going to be a really good one. It always is. But no, anything I could do, please reach out to me. I love the passion that our fans have. I understand criticism. I welcome it. I want to try to do everything. I know our staff does want to do everything to make this a better, improve each year. And I know there's some things we can't do because there is a business aspect to it. The business is changing, and we're going to have to be as aggressive as we have ever been. But thank you, man. I really appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. We'll do it again. And
y'all save the hard questions when John comes in.
Exactly. I'm saving all the I'll save all the hard questions for them, for the revenue share and everything that goes along with that. But appreciate it as always, Ryan. Great info. Always enjoy your time, man. Always well explained with everything going on in the Pirate Club. And again, if you got any questions, I'm sure off the air. If you're listening to this interview late, let me know and I'll pass them along to Ryan. We'll get back to you that way. All right, he is Ryan Robinson, Executive Director of the Pirate Club. We'll take a break. We'll come back. we'll switch gears on this Wednesday edition of Voice the Colors.
Hey, it's Jim Wells again with Wells Roofing and Gutters here in the beautiful community of Lindale, Bedford. At Wells Roofing and Gutters, we believe in quality first, and that's why we use CertainTeed shingles, which are manufactured in Oxford, North Carolina, a local company. In the event you ever do have a claim or a problem with your roof system, they're local and they come and take care of us in a timely manner. We could leave off some accessories and we could certainly save money, but we believe at Wells Roofing and Gutters in installing the correct way per manufacturer requirements, and we warranty your roof both in-house and also with our supplier, who is CertainTeed. For a job Wells done, no shortcuts taken, and a good quality job on your home, give us a call today, 252-227-8403. We also offer financing, 12 months, no interest, no payments.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Listen up. He's talking now.
Who is this?
Stephen Igo and Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Wednesday. It's May 7th. We just talked with Ryan Robinson, Executive Director of the Pirate Club. If you missed any of that interview, you can check it out. Apple Podcast, Spotify, also archived on YouTube and X. So, and Ryan always great with taking questions. So if you didn't catch it live and you got a question for Ryan, you can either pass it along to him or me, and I'll do my best to get to Ryan. We'll get you an answer either way. A lot of great thoughts during that interview, so we will recap that at some point in the coming days or so as well. Jerry Vick is in the chat, says, don't forget to hit that like button. And I agree, Jerry. Don't forget to hit that like button, especially because we have Philip Pilkington on set. This is really weird.
I know.
How's it feel to be on set and not behind the glass on Hoist the Colors?
I think the last time I was, you were sick last year for a couple days, and Scooter and I filled in, so I was out here. But other than that, this is like back in the days when Clark was producing right off the jump when we first had you. I will say there's a lot less, like, I don't know what going on behind the glass. William and Chris seem a little more calm.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's behind the glass if Philip's out here? It is William. William, how's it going, man?
Going good. I'm hanging in here. This is my first rodeo, but I feel like I'm tackling it.
First time producing Hoist the Colors, and you'll be producing Friday's show, right?
I will be. I'll be behind the glass again.
How nervous are you on a scale of 1 to 10 to mess something up?
6.2.
Okay. 6.2. Well, you're doing great thus far, and we appreciate it, man. And so hang in there. Intern Chris he's got your back if anything crazy happens. And we'll have to get intern Chris on soon to talk some college baseball because I'm just kind of tuned out from a national perspective. I should say.
I will say he's not like having a conversation with him is about like having a conversation with Wags. And normally, like most years, because ECU is doing good, I can kind of keep up with it. But I pay attention to ECU and the American, and that is about it. But Chris has been he hasn't gotten out of tune at all.
We'll have to dive into it with him because look, I'm somewhat intrigued by this UTSA series. I know you're going to your sister's graduation, so you won't be there in person, but I am kind of intrigued as we take a quick look at the series. Like, we know UTSA is the best team in the league, Phillip, and this is a spot ECU's usually in. So, like, do we see the Pirates? Yeah, they're not going to win the conference, but do we see them at least, like, take that approach of, hold on now, like, this is still our league this weekend inside Clark Leclerc? Because you have the regular season champion coming to your house in a league that is usually owned by ECU. So, like, I'm interested to see, do the Pirates show up like that, or do they just kind of roll over and UTSA is the better team? I think we'll learn something about the Pirates this weekend.
I think we will because, look, at the end of the day, as tough as this year's been, we still have the target on our back. We're still number one. We're kind of for lack of a better term, we're a blue blood. Now, not a blue blood within the entirety of college baseball, but a blue blood of the entirety of the American Athletic Conference. And you got to still kind of go out there and prove that this is your conference. Yes, you're not going to win the regular season, but also you have to prove to yourself that you can win these type of games because the conference championship is not out of reach. We've mentioned it the last 3 years. It's been won by a 3, a 6, and a 7. So it's not like you're down and out, but you got to prove to yourself that you can beat good baseball teams. This is a good baseball team, and I think that's kind of one thing the Pirates have struggled with this year. When you look at it, 0-1 against Duke, 0-2 against State, 0-3 against Carolina.
1-2 versus Coastal.
Coastal, yep. So, look, you've beaten Coastal one time. So, but the ability is there to beat the teams that we just met. Just mentioned. They just haven't put it together on the field, and I think it's a big opportunity this weekend to get right. And hey, man, it's senior day. Yeah, we don't have 20-some-odd numbers painted like we do last year, but there's still a lot of guys that have meant a lot to this program. You think of Jake Hunter, you think of Riley Johnson, and then obviously we don't know the future of Dixon Williams. Maybe hasn't quite had the junior we thought, but we really did think he was going to be a 3-and-done guy because he was going to get drafted. Obviously, I don't know what's going through Dixon's head. I don't know what's going through scouts and GM's heads, but like Coach said, he's going to be honored because he is getting his degree, so he could very easily I don't see him moving on and going to another place. He's a Greenville guy, obviously a Conley grad, but I'm sure if majors or the minors call him, I could definitely see him being gone as well.
Cameron says it would be nice to win the series after the disrespect showed us. I think he said after the disrespect they showed us last year. He says, however, UTSA is a much more experienced team. It will be hard to win one game unless someone else steps up to pitch apart from Norby. So the thing with UTSA last year, I will be interested because last year they found out, I don't want to get into specifics, but there was a tell ECU was giving away that allowed UTSA to pick up on what pitch was coming, whether it was an off-speed or a fastball. So that's why there was a whole back and forth last year in San Antonio. And there was, I don't want to say bad blood, but definitely at least words exchanged as a result of that, which you can get into the whole semantics of baseball. If you're giving something away, that's kind of on you. Either way, I think ECU will be ready to go this weekend. I know the coaches will, and I know like Dixon Williams and Ethan Norby will. I wonder about the young players. I do also find it interesting that where do you come down, Phillip, on the let's cancel the game late in the season for RPI purposes and just like face no punishment for it? Because that's kind of what happened. There was like a 10% chance of rain at, UTSA scheduled to play at Incarnate Word on Tuesday. The game was canceled. Incarnate Word 212 in RPI. UTSA fighting for an outside chance at a host spot, although I don't even know if they can host. Top 20 RPI. Should we just allow these things to be canceled with no punishment, or should there be repercussions?
The tough thing, no, 100% there should be some punishment. Yeah. The tough thing is that gray area, right? I think, if you forfeit, you lose 9-0, and it should count as such. But then they're going to play the weather card, right? And the tough thing is baseball is outside. if a team travels to, I'm not 100% sure where it is. It's in Texas, but I'm not sure where in Texas it is.
I believe in San Antonio, too.
Okay. So then there's no even excuse. It's not like you're driving 4 hours and then you got to be like, well, dang, we drove 4 hours and the game got canceled. Like, that sounds like a high school.
In San Antonio.
Yeah. So, well, that's just an irrelevant point. So, yeah, no, look, we've been in this situation multiple times. How many times we come on the show and we'd say, you're better off faking COVID than playing and winning the baseball game? ECU doesn't cancel games against crappy conference opponents. We haven't faked and said the whole team has COVID as many times as I've sat back there and wanted us to. So why the heck can UTSA do it? I mean, it's just
13-minute drive.
Yeah, and it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating being in a lower level conference. This wasn't even a conference game, but the nice thing is who you're fighting for a bid. Well, ACC and SEC schools, we're playing ACC and SEC schools every weekend, but I don't know. But if the RPI system wasn't so flawed, we wouldn't have this. That's where it comes down to. Don't be mad at the player, be mad at the game. And the game is the RPI, and it needs to change. You should not be punished for winning baseball games. That's just stupid. CG says it all the time, and I know it sounds like coach talk, but it's tough to win college baseball games, and it's true. Anytime you win, you should, at worst, get a push.
Right, it should not be dinged against you.
For showing up.
Agree. It's a flawed system, but one that, for whatever reason, we're just going to keep it rolling for the time being. It is what it is. All right, I tell you what, let's get a break in. We'll come back. We will close with NHL. The Carolina Hurricanes get their first win of the series, take a 1-0 series lead at the Capitals. So big overtime win there. We'll discuss that. Also hit on the NBA. Again, the road teams, I believe they're all now 1-0 in the 4 series in the
Except
NBA.
for there's one team's 2-0.
Yep, that's right. The Pacers 2-0. I forgot about that. That was a crazy comeback as well. So we'll hit on all that. The NBA playoffs have been crazy. To close the show after this is Hoist the Colors.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing tax credit available. Call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
If you are interested in living longer and living stronger, Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine is accepting new patients for a limited time. Finding a caring physician can be a challenge. Dr. Billy Smith is board certified in physical medicine and lifestyle medicine and has been practicing in the area for many years. Call for an appointment now to Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine, 252-364-1108 in Greenville. That number again is 252-364-1108.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan?
At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000.
The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology.
The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month.
Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today.
Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Let's get this party started on 94.3 The Game. You're on, big guy.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors. We're on. Big guys. Philip Pilkington, Stephen Igo, William producing along with intern Chris. I almost called him intern Pris. So a lot going on.
He does drive a Toyota, I think, but not a Prius. Is it a Toyota, Chris, or is it a Nissan?
We'll
Chris confirmed with us that it is a Nissan.
Okay, my bad. All right.
Man, how could you disrespect the Nissan brand like that?
Sorry.
Philip Pilkington on mic, on camera, on stage, about to head off for his sister's graduation. So big weekend ahead. Congrats to all the grads around here as well. All right, we're going to close with some NHL and NBA talk. The Carolina Hurricanes get the Game 1 victory in Washington and did so in thrilling fashion, get it in overtime. Although I do have to say the walk-off goal was kind of anticlimactic. Jacob Slavin gets it to go. I guess I was texting with Wags, Philip. You know a lot more about hockey than I, but that's kind of the Hurricanes game, is to just get as many shots as possible. And then this is why. You get one that kind of deflects in rather than, get the most clean shot in the world on goal.
Law of averages says you shoot enough at the net, some of them are going in. But, yeah, that was what they did the whole game. That was their mindset, was just get a lot of pucks in there, control the puck. They know that Washington doesn't have the speed they've had in the past. They want to set up in the offensive zone. So if you can kind of keep the puck out of their hands, I know it sounds cliche. You can't score if you don't have the puck, but some teams can really score in transition really well. They did it early. They did not find any goals early. Once they let up the goal, they went about 5 to 6 minutes where I thought they were pressing. They would get into the zone. They would rush into the zone and sometimes lose the puck, where they would cross the blue line and just fire one right at Logan Thompson's glove, and they were very easy glove saves. I was a little worried they were going to start pressing. Like I said, for about 5 or 6 minutes after the goal they allowed, they settled in, were able to tie it, and then, overtime only took 3 minutes and 6 seconds before Slavin, Denver native, was able to net the goal.
How much does this change the series? Because we know historically the Canes struggle on the road and are really good at home in the playoffs. So how much does this obviously giving home ice advantage to the Canes going forward?
Yeah, it is. I think it's huge. There's been times where I felt like they are very much the better team in a playoff series. I go back to a few years ago and they beat my Bruins. Carolina was a better team, and we knew it, but it went 7 because they were unable to win in the TD Garden. The last time they did play the Caps, the home team was 6-1 in that series. Canes were able to steal an overtime victory in Game 7 on the road, but this is a big opportunity for them. Also, it proves to them they can win on the road. This is not going to be the only series, most likely, if they do make it all the way, where they're the road team. There's plenty of teams still left in the playoffs, had more regular season points than they did. So it's a big confidence thing, as well as, like you said, sets up the series. Now you've got home ice. You just can't sacrifice it.
You saw Edmonton also get a 4-2 win over Vegas in that game. Tonight you've got Florida and Toronto, Dallas, and Winnipeg also going at it in the NHL. In NBA, the Boston Celtics back in action tonight. Philip Celtics along with my Denver Nuggets. It'll be a 7 p.m. tip in Boston and a 9:30, probably 10 o'clock-ish, because that's how the NBA always does things, tip in Oklahoma City. Do you think the home teams bounce back tonight and even these series?
I think so. I think, Boston and Oklahoma City both had late-game mistakes. They were different types of late-game mistakes, but I do see both these. I think they are both the better team. I think they will get up. They will not make those same mistakes again. I'm a little biased, but I'm less worried about the Celtics than I am the Thunder because of the things we talked about yesterday with Jokic. I just don't know who's going to guard him on that team. I think they need someone with a little more size as well as the height that he has. Chet's kind of skinny. A lot skinny, so that one worries me a little bit. But
skinny is almost like calling him skinny is almost a disrespect to skinny people.
Yeah,
he's like
even
thinner than that.
Yeah, he's like a skeleton with skin, right? But I said all along the team I'm most worried about right now, home team, Cleveland, and feeling pretty good about that take.
You called that, man, and look, I guess Donovan Mitchell just likes going off in these playoff games only for his team to lose. It feels like every monster playoff game. He did it often with the Jazz in that Nuggets series back in the bubble. But I don't know. I mean, the Cavs, much like the Thunder, kind of a young, energetic team, and you always wonder how it's going to translate to the playoffs where it's more possession basketball, higher stakes, And the Pacers, for as much hate as Tyrese Halliburton gets, I mean, he hit a dagger last night. So are we sleeping on the Pacers, or is it more just this is kind of what you expected from the Cavs?
I think it's an immature Cavs team. I think the Pacers, and we've been saying it for, a year or so, that this is a team that's on the come up. They probably would need one more star to be a legit contender, but they're definitely at the level where they are a backdoor contender. I think they're, good enough 1 through 8, 1 through 9, pretty well coached. So, I am shocked they're up 2-0. And I'm not by any means saying there's no way the Cavs win this series, but I think they're like I said, the team I was the most worried about coming into this round, who's the favorite. And, man, the Cavs, they're kind of a built for regular season team. I need to see more playoff style basketball, even in the regular season game, for me to feel confident.
That's kind of how I feel about the Thunder, which I think are a much better version of the Cavs. But they've got such a deep team. That's great in the playoffs, but you get great in the regular season. You get in the playoffs and you're having a 6-7 man rotation at most. It's like which team's best punch is going to be the best. Is more than likely going to rise to the occasion. I think the Nuggets' best punch right now is better than the Thunder. We'll see if that extends over the full 7 games. And then you had Golden State win at Minnesota last night with Steph Curry leaving the game. So that was an ugly game.
He left the game. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, a lot of defense in that game, which is kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, it's weird. It kind of feels like the script has been flipped this year. It used to always be the Western Conference was high scoring, and the Eastern Conference was a slugfest. But, man, both of their first-round series were good defensive sides. And I think we're getting back into an era where defense wins championships. You've got to hold teams to little amounts of points if you want to be successful. And Golden State goes on the road last night and holds a very good T-Wolves team to 88. Yes, they were the 6th seed, but let's be honest, they're probably better than that.
All right, we are out of time. We'll see if we can hit this outro correctly with William.
I don't hear any music already playing.
But we'll try to get it done. Philip, it was great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jack. It's fun.
Man. We'll have to try to do this more often. Although I don't know if everybody's going home for the summer or not.
We'll make Don produce. He'll be here doing the River Bandits games.
We'll get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon. Hank Hinton will be here talking Team Boneyard. See you then.
This has been Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo. Tune in weekdays at noon for all things ECU sports. Get a recap of the show at 943thegame.com, on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere you get your podcasts. We're back tomorrow with more of Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.